Happy New Year, everyone. Happy 2019. I have been spending money like Donald Trump with a Velvet American Express credit card. This has just been craziness, but some of you who follow my channel might know this is the first Christmas without my mom. So I think I might have overcompensated a little bit for that loss. Very quiet, low-key Christmas with my son, and luckily I had bought his gifts months ago before I went on this spending rampage. So he had a great Christmas, we had a great Christmas, and here's some of what I bought for myself. Jimi Hendrix live at Woodstock. This is not going to be a very long video because I'm actually in the middle of listening to this, and I'll show you guys in a few minutes what I'm listening to it on. But this is a 3-disc set. I believe these are all 180 gram vinyl, fully remastered. They sound fantastic. Coming from Woodstock, I expected it to sound like grungy and compressed. This is crystal clear, wide open. It sounds like it was recorded yesterday and not in the late 60s, but had to have this one, guys. I bought it used at my local record shop at a great price. Next one is a DVD, The Other Side of the Mirror, Bob Dylan live at the Newport Folk Festival, and this covers 63, 64, and 65. Nice package insert here. I figured this would be a great companion piece to the Scorsese film No Direction Home, which I also have a DVD of. This was a must-have, an absolute must-have. I haven't even opened the damn thing yet, but John Coltrane, Both Directions at Once, the Lost Album. Now, I've heard rave reviews of this album. It's got some Untitled stuff, Nature Boy, Impressions, Slow Blues. This was expensive, but I had to have it. I absolutely had to have it. I think John Coltrane is maybe my second favorite jazz musician behind Miles himself. Speaking of Miles, Birth of the Cool. I have the complete Birth of the Cool on compact disc, but when I saw this on vinyl, another no-brainer. This was an absolute no-brainer. Birth of the Cool. Today, these famous Miles Davis instrumentals are as exciting as ever, and here are all of them in one album for the first time. Look at that retro artwork. Dynamite. I can't wait to listen to this one. This next one was a thrift find. How Great Thou Art, Elvis, on Dynagroove. This, I believe, is a first pressing because it has the RCA Victor label and it has that Dynagroove logo. I had to get this. I found this out thrifting. I think this is from maybe 61 or 62. By request, in this album, Elvis' single hit, Crying in the Chapel. My mom loved Elvis. She particularly loved his gospel material. I picture someone calling up the RCA studios and saying, for Elvis's next album, can you put on the single hit "Crying in the Chapel"? You gotta love these creative folks writing the little hype labels. They certainly were creative. But the vinyl on this looks pristine, absolutely pristine. So looking forward to listening to some vintage Elvis. This was a crazy purchase. You know, I go to this one Goodwill near me on a regular basis, and I've bumped into this guy. His name is Pasquale, and I've run into him a few times. He found 2 copies of this in the same bin, so he gave me one. And Jethro Tull, "Too Old to Rock and Roll, Too Young to Die." I'm not a big Tull fan, but look at that gatefold. It's got like a whole graphic novel in it, and it even has the artwork you'd expect on a graphic novel. I think this was worth getting for this artwork alone. They used to call me the Big Dipper. Used to pull plenty of birds. Bad-eyed and loveless. Bitch. You gotta be kidding me. But this is on Chrysalis. Let me see what the year is. 1976. That was a good year. That was a bicentennial year. Pasquale gave me this one too, which there were also 2 copies of. Henry Hawkins at the organ of All Saints Church. This was recorded in the town I live in, Worcester, Massachusetts. So kind of interesting, there were 2 copies of it, pressed by the Gregorian Institute of America. There's Henry Hawkins, All Saints Church, Worcester, Mass, in stereo. Gregorian Institute of America is in Toledo, Ohio. I don't know if it's even in existence or not, but I might look it up sometime. Kind of wild. Eagles live. I've been looking everywhere for this, just everywhere. Got that nice gatefold. Someone online asked me if the poster was in it, and it is not, but still happy to have this one. I got this at Salvation Army. The only song I've heard on it is, here it is, Seven Bridges Road, and that is on Greatest Hits Volume 2. But look at this really clever, it looks like a roadie's case, really clever packaging. From what I understand, this is very difficult to find out in the wild, so was thrilled to have that. Both albums are inside the sleeves, and we'll give this a spin sometime soon. This was kind of a wild card find. Also at Salvation Army, Andy Pratt. I believe this is his second album. I don't know anything about Andy Pratt. There he is. But I believe he's got a little bit of a cult following, so for $1, why not? Joan Baez, the Carry It On soundtrack. Apparently she did a movie with her husband at the time. Songs from the original soundtrack of the film featuring Joan Baez and her husband David Harris. So you see David Harris there. And obviously post Dylan, but she was still singing some Dylan. I Shall Be Released. Love is Just a Four-Letter Word. Oh, Did some Leonard Cohen, some Edwin Hawkins, Gil Turner, Tom Paxton. I love her voice. Her voice is gorgeous. I'm not a big fan of her politics, but try her voice out. I'm telling you, it is just spectacular. This was a fun one. You know, I live in New England. You don't see a lot of Motown up here. You just don't. Here is Diana Ross and the Supremes, I Hear a Symphony, on the Motown label. Looks like this was owned by Jim Bonnet, and that he did a little bit of creative coloring on the back cover, filled in the letters. Produced by Holland and Dozier, and there they are. I love these liner notes that are on the back of some of these old albums, but let's take a look at some other Christmas finds. I know you're going to get tired of seeing it. This is my third Crosley Cruiser. My third. And I've tricked it out with the premium diamond stylus. We have the stylus cover on it right now. We have the optional 1/4 ounce counterweight, and we stuff the inside of the plinth with fiberglass. You do the best you can trying to make these things sound halfway decent, and I gotta tell you, I've played two sides of that Jimi Hendrix Woodstock collection. This thing sounds excellent. However, you can make it sound even better with a pair of these vintage headphones. I found these for next to nothing at the Savers near my office at work. They are mint. They're absolutely mint. They don't look like they've even been used. Look at the padding. And look at the foam cups. They're like brand new. I'm not kidding, guys. They're like brand new. I got these for $7. Now, I did buy a little adapter to go from the 1/4 down to the, I think they call that a 1/8 stereo. But this little Crosley with these vintage headphones sounds great. Next we'll go into the Cassette Culture. I got this moving coil pile microphone for $9 at my local Goodwill. Now, I've wanted to have a microphone for my vintage Pioneer cassette deck. I got one of these little adapters to go from the left and right microphone to a mono plug. And why did I do that? Well, I have voicemail saved that my mom left me before she died. I also have voicemails from my son. And as a Verizon customer, I have no way to back them up. So I said, well, what the heck? Let's kick it old school and record them with a microphone. So that's what I got. And this, I did a couple of test recordings with it. This thing sounds really, really nice. It came in the box with the instructions. I mean, not that I really need them, but this is a premium, well-made product. If you guys have ever seen one of these, try to do this one, I can't do it one-handed, but it's this like a 3-prong kind of a connector we used when I was in college taking film production. but that slings down to maybe what is about an 8-foot cord. And like I said, I've got that going to my little stereo to mono adapter. So anyways, let's look at some tapes. Before I start those tapes up, I don't know if I even showed this on video. This is the little Crosley Charlotte powered speaker, has Bluetooth in it, also has a aux-in jack. The nice folks at Crosley even gave us a stereo mini to RCA stereo, so I can hook the Crosley right up to it. It's got I think it's a silver oxide rechargeable battery. Naturally, it's got Bluetooth. I think pretty soon we're going to be seeing dentures that have Bluetooth in them. Everything is just Bluetooth, Bluetooth, Bluetooth. This Christmas, there was more Bluetooth than... I couldn't believe it. Everything is Bluetooth. But this speaker, guys, this sounds really, really nice. The original price was $70. Barnes & Noble had a 30% off sale for all Crosley items. Then I had a coupon, an electronic coupon for 20% off. And I'm also a Barnes & Noble member, so I got 10% off. So why not? This thing sounds dynamite, and it's very versatile. I'll show you another great Crosley piece coming up, and then we'll get to cassettes. More Crosley craziness. I picked up this box, this Beatles. Well, there goes some records. Beatles record box. You've got them from the Hey Jude period. Let's open it up here. I'll show you guys the inside of it. There we go. Lid comes off. I've got all my Beatles records right in here. I was thinking the other day, I've got a copy of Yesterday and Today somewhere in my collection that might not be in here, but I've got all my Sgt. Pepper's. Oh, there we go. I do have it in there. No, it's this is not one of the Butcher covers, but I've got all my Beatles. This might be my rarest Beatles, something new. All my Beatles in one. This is my mono copy of Sgt. Pepper. But same deal. I got this for next to nothing at Barnes & Noble. 30% off, 20% off coupon, and then my 10% off membership. So I wouldn't have paid full price for it, but for what I got it for, it was a great deal. Finally, we get to cassettes. I've actually been making some blanks. I'm on a Jack Kerouac kick as of late, my distant cousin. So I've been making some recordings of his prose and poetry. But got some blanks, Maxell UR90s, standard bias. Yeah, recorded some more stuff on here. Yep. Some Coltrane. Now here's some of the pre-recordeds. Bob Seger, Live Bullet. Traveling Wilburys, Volume 1. Steve Martin, Let's Get Small. Why not have some comedy on cassette? Some blanks, $2.99 a piece, not a bad deal. Another blank. These were kind of wild cards. I paid a little more for them than I normally would, only for the artist. Van Halen's Diver Down. Whoa! there goes the whole stack of cassettes. But it's one of those noises that they just sound awful. That chintzy plastic, when it bumps up into each other, and you drop a stack of them, they sound awful. Zeppelin. The Rolling Stones, Hot Rocks. The Who's Greatest Hits. Zeppelin 3. Yeah, some Sinatra. I only paid 50 cents for these. Collector Series Sinatra. This is on Capitol. This was a nice find. Sinatra with Tommy Dorsey. And Roy Orbison's Mystery Girl. Which actually, Mystery Girl, one of the songs on here, Mystery to Me, is on the new Aquaman film. But, of course, Roy Orbison's last... I think I have this on compact disc somewhere, and Bono and The Edge produced a few of the songs on it. But anyways, hope you had a good Christmas, Happy New Year, and let's have a great 2019. I'm glad 2018 is over and done with, so off to a better year. Take care for now.